Democrats are pushing back on President Trump's immigration proposal as we hit day 31 of the government shutdown. The president unveiled his plan to end the stalemate from the White House Saturday, but he reportedly did not consult with Democratic leaders first. The proposal would offer temporary protections for so-called dreamers, or undocumented immigrants brought to the U.S. as children. It would also include more border protection for agents and other immigration officials. In exchange, President Trump still wants the $5.7 billion for the border wall. But Democrats fired back and called the move, quote, hostage-taking. They also point out that the president was only giving back protections he himself had taken away. Dave Levinthal is a senior political reporter and federal politics editor for the Center for Public Integrity. He joins us now. Dave, thanks so much for being with us. You know, Democrats are saying open the government and then we'll negotiate immigration. But does this proposal by the president stand a chance of being considered by the House or the Senate?
The Senate is certainly going to consider it, Tanya, but the House is really the same place that it's been for a month. In fact, the entire negotiation is at the same place that it was a month ago, which is a whole lot of nowhere. So here we are a month into the shutdown. Another week is going to pass if this continues on, and people are going to miss their second paycheck in the federal government among federal workers who are affected. So ultimately what we've got is a situation where perhaps it's going to take an external force, such as airports shutting down or whatnot, in order for this to work. We had about 10% of TSA workers, I should note, who basically sicked out or called in just the past couple of days.
Yeah, you've got to wonder if it's going to take some sort of national emergency like that to move the needle here. You know, there have been multiple immigration proposals in the past that included protections for dreamers in exchange for border wall funding, which is what the president, again, is now offering. They haven't passed so far. So why would the White House think this time would be different? Because everyone is just more impatient?
Well, of course, once you get to a point like this where the frustrations are running high, the pain is deep and real among federal government workers and contractors. And yes, you potentially do think, especially on the Republican side, that there might be a point for negotiation here. But this is a non-starter with Democrats. The Democrats are saying this is just recycled stuff from the White House, that it still contains border wall funding. And so long as you just want to build the wall and that's going to be contingent on opening back up the government, that's just not going to work for the Democrats. So again, we're pretty much at the same place as we were before the president gave his speech just this weekend.
Now, on the Democrat side, House Democrats have voted on multiple bills in the past few weeks to reopen the government, which haven't been touched by Senator McConnell. And there is sort of a trending, actually on Twitter, there's a trending hashtag, Where's Mitch, that Democrats have been sending around. But does this new White House proposal now put Democrats in a difficult position?
The White House sure hopes so, and that's what they're trying to do here is basically say, hey, look, this is a reasonable proposal. This is a compromise. We're trying to negotiate here, and you guys are at fault for trying to keep this government shutdown going into a fifth week, a sixth week, wherever it lands. But Democrats are very quick to come back and say, hey, look, Donald Trump, you were the one who in mid-December said, I'm going to own this shutdown. If we're going to shut down the government, that's going to be on me. I'm not even going to blame you, Chuck Schumer and Nancy Pelosi. But so they're really just saying, all right, if you want to own the shutdown, own it. And that's where they're trying to negotiate from the point of strength that they feel that they have at this juncture.
Indeed, at this juncture, day 31. All right, moving on a bit. Meanwhile, special counsel Robert Mueller's team has now disputed that bombshell BuzzFeed report that the president had directed Michael Cohen to lie to Congress. That's what the BuzzFeed report alleged. But Mr. Trump's lawyer, Rudy Giuliani, raised more questions over the weekend with what he had this to say about the Trump Tower Moscow project. Let's listen in.
Well, it's our understanding that they went on throughout 2016. Weren't a lot of them, but there were conversations. Can't be sure of the exact dates, but the president can remember having conversations with him about it.
Throughout 2016?
The president also remembered. Yeah, probably could be up to as far as October, November. Our answers cover until the election. So anytime during that period, they could have talked about it.
Whoa. So, you know, what does it mean that Mr. Trump was seeking a deal with Russia all the way up until he was elected president?
If ultimately that was true, there's a number of reasons why this is significant. I'll offer two for you immediately. Number one, the president was calling for sanctions to be lifted on Russia during this same time period toward the end of his campaign. Also, too, you got to remember that President Trump was also calling for Russia to release potentially problematic emails, DNC emails that Russia purportedly had at that point, too. So if he was conducting business negotiations simultaneous with those things happening, that would be definitely a bombshell among bombshells.
Problematic, to say the least. Now, Dave, he also acknowledged Mr. Trump might have talked to Cohen before his congressional testimony, but vows that he did not instruct Cohen to lie. Why put out the information that they may have talked? Why put that information out there?
You, me, and a whole lot of people are wondering that same thing, too. The White House is trying to paint, and Donald Trump is trying to paint Michael Cohen as a liar, which he is. He has demonstrably lied in the past, too. But the president, at the same time, too, if he had been coaching Michael Cohen to say something or do something that would be beneficial to him, then this whole mess just gets even messier here. So Michael Cohen is going to have a very interesting next couple of weeks. He is destined for prison, and before he gets there, he's sort of going on a little tour here, which is going to stop on Capitol Hill, too, when he testifies before a House committee. So this story is far from being fully written, at least with Michael Cohen, as it relates to Donald Trump and his relationship with Donald Trump as a lawyer and as a business partner.
Dave Levinthal, thank you so much for your time.
My pleasure.